on YouTube. But anyway, oh man, who remembers Chuck E. Cheese? So salute to Hollywood Unlocked, salute to Jason Lee. This post says Chuck E. Cheese locations removes all animatronic following Five Nights at Freddy's film release. Yes, if you've been to Chuck E. Cheese, which we all have when we were kids, you remember that. I guess they're not infamous, but in some ways they could be considered. But those iconic animatronics, Chuck E. Cheese, I don't remember the other characters, but them playing instruments, them moving in that certain way, which if I had the camera on, which maybe we will be implementing soon, you would see me making the motions, those animatronic motions or movements. I think they actually have a video, so I don't even need to talk too much. Go to the next thing. Yeah, play that.
Thing that either entertains or scares everybody. The company says it's getting rid of their animatronics. The decision comes after the release of a recent horror movie, Five Nights at Freddy's, featuring similar puppets. The animatronic bands will be removed everywhere except for one location, and that's in California.
Nice. I don't even have to talk too much. Anyway, so we're all relatively familiar with Chuck E. Cheese. If you don't know about Five Nights at Freddy, like the brother said, it's not just a film; it's a game franchise. It's a whole thing, and I'm not gonna get into the Five Nights at Freddy lore and/or deep dive rabbit hole. But I will say it's a horror genre franchise about animatronics and it's basically like a horror version of Chuck E. Cheese, basically, and it generally revolves around you being an employee of that location and having to survive a night at Five Nights at Freddy. Well, you have to survive 5 nights at the establishment. Whatever, it's kind of in the name. So, and I guess I'll even read a slight bit of this, even though, oh yeah, because it said, dang, I should read. The film is based on a popular video game franchise where a security guard has survived 5 nights at Freddy's Fazbear Pizzeria. At the same time, the animatronic characters come to life and attempt to kill him. 3 weeks after the film's release, Chuck E. Cheese announces they would remove the animatronics from their locations except one in California. I wonder what's going on in that location. And somebody said, speaking alongside fellow members of the Make Believe band, that's the name of, I don't know. I'll make sure. Featuring Mr. Munch on the keyboards, Jasper T. Giles on the guitar, Helen Henney on vocals, and Pascally on drums. Chucky. Are those the names of the animatronics? Is
Some
that what
of these names are a little suspect.
I've never heard of these names before in my life. All I know is Chuck E. Cheese.
Helen Henny?
All I know is Chuck E. Cheese, the mouse, is up there telling me about the pizza I can go get. Anyway, Chuck E. Cheese Chuck E. revealed they had been headlining an executive permanent resident in Northbridge. What is this? Will become the nation's only Chuck E. Cheese foreign centered to featuring the original animatronic band and totally modern upgraded experience to guests, making the destination fans of all ages, past and present. This statement reads. So basically, the one location that is keeping the animatronics, they're gonna upgrade the animatronics and they're make it like special, whatever the case may be. Anyway, all this to say, one, maybe this is just news of the week, but two, a little retrospective topic. What did y'all think of the animatronics growing up? And do you think this type of decision makes sense to change up your entire store model based on a horror movie coming out based off the thing the thing in question? We'll start with you, Ace. What did you think about the animatronics from back in the day?
I always thought that they were pointless. This is not why I enjoyed going to Chuck E. Cheese to see the animatronics dance. I liked to play the arcade games and go in the jungle gym part. Like that was the whole appeal
Oh
and get
man.
pizza.
Ain't it crazy how that arcade thing where you could run through was like the funnest thing in the world? But
Yep.
then as a grown ass adult, wouldn't you feel kind of sus about your kid running up and down those things? Or do you not care about stuff like that?
Maybe. It's I don't think so actually. I mean, besides the fact that it's dirty as hell, um, I don't really see an
What they
interest
should
in
have
it.
done, they should have just created a device that hyper cleans those things.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, I never really like that's definitely not when I went or why I maybe there's other kids who did, but I can't imagine who. um, and I will say, like, maybe it is just a relic of the past because I can imagine when this technology was new, seeing animatronic, robots dancing and stuff as a kid, like that probably was cool to see, but it probably was short lived. I don't think that novelty la- probably lasted many years. Um, and yeah, I agree with the company's decision to remove them because I would not be surprised if people just weren't even um like if people weren't even really enjoying this aspect of Chuck E. Cheese in general, then why not just remove them? Remove the whatever cost associated with it, there may be associated with keeping these things running. Like, just get rid of them altogether. In the cultural um view, like these things are not. They've become frightening because of how
Yeah.
prevalent Five Nights at Freddy's is. So it's like, why even bother? Unless you decide to just completely rework it and be like, actually, this is a horror aspect of Chuck E. Cheese if you want to have like a horror night or something. But other than that, like,
Horror Night at Chuck E. Cheese is wild.
yeah, uh, I don't think it's worth maintaining them.
Well, while you didn't necessarily see the big deal, and maybe you were just a little past your not prime, but a little older. But you would still say it isn't like a staple, damn near iconic part of Chuck E. Cheese, though. And like they've been there since what the 80s or 90s, and like the Five Nights at Freddy's phenomenon is like a more recent thing. So why should they have to change things up?
um, so yeah, an iconic part of Chuck E. Cheese? I guess you could say that, but if like again, I find it hard to believe that anybody like any young child that um is actually like able to recognize, I don't know, like living creatures, like to think that those things are entertaining or cool. It doesn't make sense to me because they've always had this in my mind. I can't remember a time where they did not have this like uncanny valley feel where it's just, they're not human. The way they move, that it's not a person in a suit. It's a robot, and it's just like, what
You
is
didn't
the
think
point of
you didn't think
this?
robots were cool back in the day?
Not dressed up as, I mean, not dressed up as these goofy characters and doing something repetitive and knowing that they can't do, like, they all they can do is move in these very stiff ways. They have limited
Swivel.
range of motion. They have no AI. Like, there's nothing interesting about it. It's
You want them to
just,
put AI in the animatronics?
I mean, that might make it more interesting. Like, there's nothing, they don't there's no there's nothing there. It's just a moving figure. Like, that's all it is. So I don't see, like, at the very least, that's all it is. There's no, to me, there's no entertainment value in that. And then at worst, now the cultural zeitgeist being that these things are scary, it's like, well, now what's the point at all? Like, why bother keeping these things going when nobody's coming for them? Or, in my mind, I can't imagine people coming for them, or kids coming to wanting to see them. Like, I can't see it anymore.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. What about you, Ghost? What did you think about the animatronics back in the day? And do you think it makes sense to remove them since the little Five Nights at Freddy thing is blown up?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same wave as Ace. Like, I really never cared about him. It was always about the games. I, I mean, they were. I wasn't like creeped out, but it was always a little strange and bizarre. don't know, just pointless. Like no one cares about those things and little performances they did. Like I never watched one. I just cared about the games. But like, is it even confirmed that it's because of the Five Nights at Freddy's thing that they're getting rid of these, or is it just a coincidence that right after the movie they're
I
junking them?
mean, somebody put out a statement. But yeah, we don't. This doesn't specify where the statement came from specifically.
Well, they say amid the release of Five Nights at Freddy's, it doesn't seem like it's an official statement from the company. It's just implied, and people want you to come to that conclusion. But I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I guess. But I never cared about him before. I don't care about him now. So it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
Fair enough. I was looking at this NPR article real quick, but it's actually kind of given the reverse. So apparently somebody says, oh, never mind. I don't want to pull up a thing that we can't all look at. Yeah, I will say, while I think, uh, at minimum, it was an iconic staple of the Chuck E. Cheese franchise. Yeah, this thing says they look a little dated. Um, yeah, arguably, if speaking from the perspective of a young child, you go to Chuck E. Cheese for the arcade games and the pizza, and like you're usually going there because it's somebody's party. Like so, there's gonna be cake, there's gonna be gifts and all that jazz. The animatronics is really just in the background doing those motions that you described, Dace. It's like it's not hitting. It's like the music ain't hitting. Like it's really just like it's there in the background just to kind of fill space almost. And I'm sure
Yeah,
when it first released, like you mentioned, it was kind of like it's like seeing PlayStation PS1 graphics for the first time. Like back in the day, it looked hot, but
right, right.
once you get a little older, it's like, ooh, I don't want to look at that. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like if any a child that's young enough to be entertained by those figures or those animatronics, at this point they're probably not even old enough to remember or know what's really going on. Like you can put them in front of a TV and they'll be just as fine. Like it's just not worth it. You just show them a cartoon of the same characters and it'd be just as fine.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, yeah, I guess at this point in time, maybe somebody listening can point us in the direction of somebody that's like give a direct statement, which in theory maybe you wouldn't necessarily even want to like put out a statement that or like an official statement like putting it one to one because maybe that would be bad press. Um, but
Perhaps.
yeah, but they definitely are making a move, and they're definitely gonna have like one Chuck E. Cheese in, like I said, in California that has the animatronics. So if anyone does have an affinity for those old animatronics, you're gonna have to go to that location to see them. And while it's some literal like end of time, please don't do it. I'm not gonna lie, putting the AI in it so you can like, hey Chucky, it's my birthday. Can you like do something for me? And then it starts rapping a Drake bar or something like that. Hey man, hey man, you gotta do something in this day and age to draw the people. But yeah,
Yeah.
also go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I'm done.
I was just gonna say, the the company decision. Like, I wonder, I wonder if they have data that indicates that, um, like just in general, uh, people going to Chuck E. Cheese has gone down since well, I guess since Five Nights at Freddy's has become popular overall, but also with the release of the film. Because like this reminds me of like clowns becoming scary too. It's like
Yeah,
if kids if kids are scared of clowns, you're not gonna invite a clown to the birthday party anymore. And I think it's the same way with this. If kids are become scared of going to Chuck E. Cheese because of Five Nights at Freddy's, then you're not gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese. Like the kids are the reason you
Yeah.
go to Chuck E. Cheese. So if they're scared, it's like, oh,
And I don't want to make this up, but I almost feel as if like you could find some level of data or like an article that points to the fact like clowns and that type of occupation went down a lot once like it came out
right,
in movies like
right,
that. So it's probably like a similar concept.
yeah.
Well, I guess the moral of the story is sorry, Chucky, you're done. And what even is that? You have to be looking at us, so sorry for all the just audio listeners. What even was the purple guy? Is that a dinosaur? What? What? I'm trying to put the names
Looks
to.
like knockoff Barney.
Like, I don't know
I
who.
think it's a dinosaur.
I don't know who these names are. I don't know. I also kind of want to pull up a quick video just so you can, so anyone who is a straight up zoomer can see how these animatronics move. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it in post. I don't really care about it that much. But then if you, yeah, we're not. Forget it. Yeah, if you know, you know, type of thing. Anyway, if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next topic.